All right, friends, just a little experiment here. So we've got a torque plate bolted to our 408 cubic inch LS. This has got studs in it now, and I just wanted to perform a little test just to see how out of round or egg shaped the cylinders would get. Because I got this block machined initially with bolts. When they bored it out and finish honed it to 4.030, they used these fasteners right here. So they're the ARP bolts, so they're going to stress the block differently than studs, for example. So now what I've got is I've got a torque plate in there, and I've got the studs in here with the nuts. The nuts are torqued to 80 foot-pounds, and these are the measurements I got when I measured them with my mic and the bore gauge. So I'll just go through this quickly since we got it set up here, and I'll pull this torque plate off and I'll put the bolts back, and we'll see if our measurements are different. So what I'm noticing here, the trend, all the X's in the X direction, they're smaller. The Y's are bigger. So for example, hole number 2, it measured out to 4.0255 in the X direction. So that means basically I had the, let me just grab this thing, I'll show you. So basically I had the tool, just go like this here and bring this one down. So basically in the X direction I had the tool in here like this, and our telescoping gauge like that, went like that. Put it in our vise, and then of course used our mic to measure, right? So yeah, so that's what I did, just like that. So those are the numbers I got. Yeah, 255. So, and then in the Y direction, it's basically putting our telescoping gauge in the bore like this, and then getting a dimension in the Y direction. So yeah, so again, in the vise, use the mic, and in the Y direction, it seems to be bigger. Okay, so 4.0295 in a Y, 4.0255. So basically, this is very egg-shaped now. So that's why I'm glad I got this, because I just wanted to prove to see, as my previous video, I was stating that use the fasteners that the machine shop used to machine your block. Don't try to change, even though that the studs offer way more clamping force. But what we're going to do is we're going to put the bolts to 75 foot-pounds as per spec, and then we're going to see if these things are going to be rounder. So they should ideally be 4.030, 4.0295, 4 point, you know, something like that, right? We don't want to have a big discrepancy in our X or our Y and our X. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to show you that since I'm out here playing with this thing, seeing what it would do. And we'll pull this setup off, we'll put the bolts back, and then we'll see if the numbers are closer. So I'd like to see it closer than this, because this is a little bit too big. You know, you got 5 thou discrepancy here, you've got about 3 thou here. Not too bad on number 6, you know, a couple thou. But this one, number 8, look at this, 4.0995, 4.0195 versus on the Y direction 4.0285. So that's big. That's like 9 thou. So egg-shaped 9 thou. So that's not going to be good. Anyways, guys, I'll pull this off and add another scene to this, and we'll test it with the bolts. Okay. Right, friends. So as you can see here now, got the torque plate on with our bolts torqued to 75 foot-pounds. So this actually worked out a lot better. So I basically verified from my previous video where I said that use the fasteners that they use in the machine shop when you get your cylinders bored and finish honed. Use the same fasteners, because then you're ensuring that the cylinders will stay as round as possible when you torque your heads down. Okay, so if we look here, guys, so when I had the studs in 80 foot-pounds, I had a huge discrepancy between the X and the Y. Again, 4.0255 and 4.0295, so there's a 4 thousandths difference there. So egg-shaped, not perfectly round. So now when we go to the bolts, for example, that number 2 hole right here, when I use the telescoping gauge both in the X like this and then in the Y for all of them, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So if we look here at number 2 with the bolts, in the X direction, the dimension was 4.029. So basically 1 thou smaller than the bore. It was a 4.030 bore engine. And in the Y direction it was 4.0295, so within half a thou. So that's good. Hole number 4, this guy here, X and Y. Measured it with a mic right here, and so number 4 was 4.0308, and in the Y direction it was 4.0301. So again, you're within a thou, right? So that's really good. Number 6, this hole here, X and then Y, measured with a mic right here, 4.0302. So basically 2 10/1000ths bigger than 4.030, and the Y was 4.0304. So they're within 2 10,000ths of an inch. So that's less than half a thou difference, so that's good. Number 8, last one. This is the one where when I had the studs in there and the nuts, it was a huge discrepancy, like basically 9 thou. 4.0195 in the X direction, and I measured 4.0285 in the Y direction. So basically almost 9 thousandths. That's way too big. So that basically egg shaped it, because the stresses imparted by the studs was totally different than the stresses imparted by the bolts, which were used in the machine shop with a torque plate just like this to basically finish bore these cylinders to size. So we're basically using the same fasteners as we did, and I just wanted to verify for myself. I know this was an expensive piece, you know. Anyways, so if Dan, if you're watching, or Leighton, it's for sale, and you can bore your shit up to 150 thou with this thing. See, LS torque plate, 4.150 max bore, so that's pretty good. So anyways, Dan, it's for sale, because I just wanted to do this video just to prove that, again, to verify my other video, use the fasteners that you're going to use in your build when you send everything to the machine shop. So again, we're going to be using bolts, we're going to use the studs for another engine build, so that's fine. So anyways guys, I just verified this, and I'm glad I actually measured it, because yeah, this is what we're going to use now, 75 foot-pounds. And I did machine these decks, got them nice and flat, so we should have no problem now. We got new gaskets, which we didn't have before, we used used ones. So flat deck, fasteners, the bores are round, which is verified with my measurements. Bore size bolts, yeah, 75 foot-pounds. So the bores are within a thou of each other, actually half a thou. It's really good, you know. This one is maybe 9 10/1000ths, well 7 30/01 38, so that's, you know, still within a thou. Everything's within a thousandth of an inch, so it's fine guys, because everything heats up when it's operating, and shit changes, so you can do your best to keep everything as it is when it's cold. By when it gets hot under stress, well, stuff's gonna move around. So anyways, the point here is, again, just to verify my previous video, use the fasteners, and now we've verified it with our torque plate here. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, appreciate your support, and yeah, this was a good that I did this. Now I feel satisfied that we're using bolts with the machined heads, because they're nice and flat now. Anyways guys, appreciate it, thanks a lot.